Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Tanelia and this is Young Beauty. Today we're going to be doing a 2 looks 1 palette using the new e.l.f. Retro Paradise palette. This is their newest collection. I did a first impressions of this palette and one of the highlighters. I'll drop a link right up here, a little card, so you guys can check that out if you want to, and I'll also put a link down there in the description box below. But this is like a 70s retro themed palette. I really loved this color story. I love the fact that you have these bronzes in here and you have these reds and these oranges. This Baha Ma shade, the green shade, was one of the shades that really stood out for me and was one of the reasons why I wanted to get this palette. But if you watched my first impressions, you know that that shade didn't really work very well when I used it the first time. I am going to use it in look number 2 because I do want to see if I can play around with some more and get it to work better because I really did like the shade. Let's go ahead and get started with look number 1. Alright guys, let's get started with look number 1. I'm going to go ahead and prime my eyelids with my Juvia Place Concealer. Blend that in with my sponge real quick. I've already done my face products, so foundation, primer, blush, highlighter, all that is already done, so we can go ahead and move right into our eye look. For this look, I think I want to do something kind of gold and bronzy, so I want to kind of focus over here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take Dijon, which is this creamy matte light mustardy shade, and we're going to put that all over our eyelid as our transition shade. Go ahead and lay that down all over the eyelid. If you've watched my first impressions video that I did of this palette, then you know that some of the shades, especially that green one, did not perform very well. I have not had very good experiences with e.l.f. shadows. When I did the Jakissa palette, that one was awesome. That was a very beautiful formula. I really like that one. But this palette, especially that green shade, it just didn't perform the way that I wanted to. That's why I wanted to go ahead and do a 2 looks 1 palette video, just so that I can play around with the shadows more. Maybe I could get them to work better this time, since that was a first impression and it was my first time using them. So hopefully we will have a better outcome this time. Now we're going to take Sandy Bum, which is kind of a light chocolate brown, and we're going to put that into our crease. And then we're going to go back in with something a little bit deeper, probably either spiced or caliente, and then go into cacao on the outer corner. So we're taking that Sandy Bum shade and we're just putting that directly into the crease. So yeah, what we're doing with this look is we're just creating a neutral bronze glow, so it should be pretty quick and easy to put together. Shouldn't be too complicated. Now today these shadows are working pretty well. This is my first time using this particular shade and it is blending pretty nicely. It feels pretty smooth. I do have to build it up a little bit, but I don't mind that, just as long as it is blending and building up onto itself. I am okay with that. Now we're going to go into Caliente, which is this orange, really nice, bright, fiery shade here. And we're going to lay that right here directly into the inner corner. And then, crease area, and blend that in. This is one of the shades that I used in my first impressions. And I did like this one. This was a really pretty orangey, fiery shade. You guys know how much I love a fiery orange shade that is building up and blending pretty well into that chocolate brown shade. So far I have no complaints about the performance of these shadows today. I'm going to take a little bit of my Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow primer here and put it directly onto a brush. I'm going to lay it directly into the crease area where I'm wanting to lay this shade, just to see if I can get it to, what's the word I'm looking for, pack on a little brighter. I had to think about the word I was looking for, because I just want it to be just a little bit richer, just in this crease area right here. All right, now let's see if we can pack that on a little bit better. Yes, that is what we're going for. You see how much brighter it is? So taking that eyeshadow base and packing it exactly where I'm wanting the shadow to go on a little bit brighter really did help. That's the first time I've ever done that. It's kind of trying out something new, and I like the result. I may try that with the next look when I do look number 2, because I do want to try that Baja green shade again. So I might try packing on the eyeshadow base with that look first too, and seeing if that helps any. I'm going to take a little bit more of that Caliente shade, and we're going to take that on the lower lash line just to kind of connect the outer corner and just add a little bit of smokiness to that area. Now I'm taking a packer brush and I'm dipping into this Rise and Shine shade, which is this really deep, rich, bronzy gold. We're going to lay that right here in the inner corner, and then we're also going to take it onto the lower lash line right in the inner corner area, right there, and connect it. I want to see if this will go on really well without me having to wet the brush. That's pretty. Okay, that is a very pretty shimmer. I'm not having to wet the brush. I'm not really having to build that up. That is nice and shiny and wet. Ooh, I am liking that. We're going to do the same thing on this eyelid. Just pack that right into that inner corner all the way. I'm going to take a thin liner brush and take that same Rise and Shine shade down into the lower lash line. This really is a beautiful bronzy shimmer. To finish this off, I'm going to go ahead and go into this cacao shade, which is this deep chocolate brown, because I do want to add a little bit more depth onto that outer corner. Just right in here. Just to kind of make it a little bit more smoky. Right there. In that outer corner. And that is the eyeshadow all done. I'm going to go off camera, throw in some liners, some lashes, throw on my lips, and then we'll come back and see the final look. All right, lashes and lips are done. For lips, I just threw in my Ruby Kisses lip pencil in Crimson and my liquid lipstick. And this is the Matte About Matte from the Balm. I think it says Honest on the bottom of it, but it's just a nice crimson orange shade I thought would be pretty for this look. Let me tell you guys something I just discovered about this precision pencil, the one from Ruby Kisses. I have 4 of these. And as I was putting on the pencil, I noticed that on the bottom it says brush. You take out the bottom part, there's a little brush on it, you put it on the end, and the pencil becomes a lip brush. I have had these pencils for at least 2 months, and I am just now discovering that there is a little brush that comes out on the end of it. It's just really, really cute idea. So what do you guys think of look number 1? I think it came out pretty good. I was just going for a nice, neutral, bronzy look today, and I think it came out pretty well. I really like that Rise and Shine, which is a gold bronzy shade that I put in that inner corner area of my eyelid. Absolutely beautiful. But that's look number 1. Let's move on to look number 2. Welcome to look number 2. Just like with the first look, all my face products are already done. Foundation, powder, concealer, blush, highlighter, already finished. All of that will be down in the description box below, but let's go ahead and get started with this look. I think for this one, I'm going to focus on these 3 shades right here. Fuego, Royal, and Baja Mar. If you remember from my first impressions video, I also mentioned at the beginning of this video when I was doing look number 1, that Baja Mar shade. Really beautiful, vibrant lime green shade was one of the reasons why I wanted to get this palette. When I used it in my first impressions video, I was having a hard time getting it to work. I want to use it again in this video to see if I can make it work with this look. I'm hoping for the best, but we will just have to see. First things first, we're going to prime our eyelids. I'm using my Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow primer. I used this with the first look, and I feel like it did help those more vibrant shades, so I'm hoping that it will help with this green shade and give it a better chance. Usually, you know, I prime my eyelids at my Juvia's place, but I'm trying something new. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take Fuego, which is just that light coral shade there, and we're going to lay that all over as our transition shade. So, how are you guys doing out there? What's going on in your part of the world? Here we are, well, everywhere. We are a few days from the 4th of July. It's a weird one. I mean, usually we go out and we go see the fireworks. There's like a little festival that's near here that we usually go to, but you know, that's not going to be happening this year. So, you know, it's a little weird. It's a little strange to not be doing some of the things that we normally do, but there's a lot of things going on in the world. A lot of things that are a little bit more important right now. Now I want to take the Baja Mar shade and use that in my crease and try to blend that on the eyelid. Let's see, I might have to take that primer and lay a little bit more over the eyelid, but I'm hoping that's not the case. Okay, already I'm not getting the brightness that I'm wanting. So I'm going to take a little bit of this primer and I'm going to lay it just right there where I'm wanting to lay down the color. I put way too much in the back of my hand. That makes me sad. I've wasted product, but we're going to take that and we're going to lay it right here on the eyelid and into the crease. I'm not trying to do a cut crease. I just want to see if laying down a base in this area will help that shadow to be a little more vibrant. If not, then I give up. There is no hope for that shade at all. Got a little bit more on my brush. Let's see. Okay, it's laying down a little bit more vibrant now. I'm getting definitely a little more vibrancy by laying down that base over the transition shade. It's still not as bright and pigmented as it is in the pan and as I'm hoping, or as I was hoping it would be, but it is performing a little bit better. It's a very smooth shadow. It's just not very pigmented and not as bright and not as vibrant as I was hoping that it would be. I'm going to do the same on the other eyelid. I'll lay down that base, blend it out with my fingertip real quick, taking some more of that shadow and laying it down on this eyelid. I'm taking a little bit more of that Fuego shade and just bringing a little bit more into the top part of that green, just to kind of blend the two shades together. Now we're going to go into that Royal, which is a very deep, rich navy blue, and we're going to lay that on the outer part of the eye, right here. See, that shadow, that's pigmented, that's vibrant. It's not as patchy as that blue shade, I'm sorry, that green shade is. Still takes a little building up, but there's definitely a lot more pigment in this shade. Do the same thing on the other eye. And we're just laying that shadow down on the outer corner, packing it on, and then blending it into that green shade. I'm finding on this eye, I'm having a little bit more of a harder time getting the shadow to build up like it did on this eye. I'm going to take just a little bit more of this eye base. I want to lay it down on the lower lash line so that I can lay some of that green shade, that green shadow right down there. And I'm laying down this base because I know that if I don't, we're not going to get like any pigment showing up at all. Got a little bit on a thin, kind of a pencil brush here. And we're just going to lay it over that shadow base. Now I'm going to take my Joa brush here and I'm going to go into, do I want to go into Sip Sip or Disco? Sip Sip is the blue shade. Disco is kind of the purplish blue. Or do I want to go with this? I think I'm going to do Sip Sip. We're going to lay that down towards the inner part of the eye. And then we're going to do an inner eye color. So we're just going to lay this right here. I'm hoping that the brush will be enough. I may have to wet it. Yeah, hold on. I'm going to wet my brush. I wet the brush a little bit with my Believe Beauty setting spray here, and I have a little bit more shadow on the brush. It seems to have picked up a little bit more. Let's see if we can pack this into the inner corner. Yes, there we go. You see that? We have a little bit more brightness. Definitely picked up the shadow a lot better. We're just going to lay that right here in the inner part of the eye. I didn't really have like a full-blown plan. I knew what shades I wanted to use, and as far as just a full-blown eye look, I'm just kind of playing it by ear. Now to finish off this look, I'm going to take this Metal Glaze 12-Hour Intense Liquid Foil. This is from Hard Candy. This shade is Silver. I'm going to put a little bit of that on the back of my hand. And then I'm going to take a thin brush and I'm going to dip into this. And I'm going to use this as my inner corner highlight. I don't have the only other shade that I have in the palette that's kind of light is the Salt shade. And that one, it's just not as vibrant as I would like. So I'm hoping this Silver shade will give me that inner corner brightness that I'm wanting. Take a little bit more right in there, all the way under that lower lash line. I think I want to do a bigger wing with this look, so I've got my Urban Decay Perversion liner pen here, and we're just going to line our lash line, bringing it out into a bigger wing on the outside. So we're going to start here. And then we're going to bring it down like that. And then connect it here like that. And then just fill in the spaces. I have hooded eyelids, and sometimes doing a wing on hooded eyelids can be tricky. But the biggest thing to remember when you're doing hooded wing liner on hooded eyelids is to do it with your eyes open. Do not close your eyes. If you do it with your eyes closed, then when you open your eyes, the wing will not be sitting where you want it to be. It'll more likely be lower and kind of droopy. So the way that you make sure that that wing is sitting where you want it to be is you make sure that your eyes are open. Liner was done on both eyes. I'm going to go off camera, throw in some lashes, throw in some lips, and we'll come back and see what it looks like all put together. And we're back. Lashes are on, lips are done. Today I lined my lips with my NK lip pencil. This is in red, and normally you guys know I love a liquid matte formula, but today I went with a bullet lipstick. This is from the Sophia Nagard Colourpop collection. I think I'm saying it right. This is the Bury Me in Lipsticks shade. I love her lipsticks because little bats engraved all around each one of the lipsticks. There were 6 of them in the collection. When I last checked, the collection was still available, so I do believe it's still on the website. So what do you guys think? Which look was your favorite? I have to admit, mine was look number 1. The gold, the bronziness. I just absolutely love that look. Look number 2, I'm not 100% happy with. I mean, it came together in the end, but I had a difficult time once again with this Baja Mar shade. I had to lay down the Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow base over my transition shade just to get the shade to be vibrant. And if you have to put that much work into a shadow to get it to work, it is just not worth it. So what do I think after playing with this palette again and trying to put 2 more looks together with it? I think my thoughts are exactly the same as they were when I did the first impressions. It's just not that great of a palette. Other than the Jakissa eyeshadow palette, I just cannot seem to get the e.l.f. eyeshadow formula to work for me. The shadows are powdery, they're patchy, they don't blend well, there's just not a whole lot of pigment. Unless e.l.f. comes out with something that I just think is absolutely amazing and I have to have, like that Jakissa eyeshadow palette, which I love. I just don't see myself purchasing another e.l.f. eyeshadow formula anytime soon. I just cannot seem to get their formula to work for me. If you're new to my channel, I would love it if you hit subscribe and join our little family. And if you would like to be notified of any videos that may be coming up in the future, be sure to tap the notification bell down below. Be safe, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.